I love you. I love you, North Carolina. I love you. Unbelievable. You know, it's an incredible thing. The system is rigged, but we're still happy to be together, right? It's totally rigged. What a system. What a group. I'll tell you what's going on, and we're going to be talking about it. But before I do, a great friend of mine, somebody respected by everybody, Senator Bob Corker. Come on up, Bob. Come on up.
I wasn't going to say anything. I just came to visit. But I have to tell you something. The rallies that I have back home aren't quite like this.
Pretty good, pretty tough.
Pretty cool. Yeah, this is unbelievable, isn't it? Had a pretty remarkable day today. Pretty remarkable day. You know, it says a lot about a person to meet their family, spend time with their kids, if you will, Ivanka and Eric and their son-in-law, and to be around the people that have worked in the Trump organization for 25 and 30 years, to see the respect that they have for the person they've worked with, the father and father-in-law that they have, to see how he treats the people that are around him. So many times in these campaigns, people become caricatures of what the media makes them. And all too often, after a race is over, people realize they never really knew the person. Somebody once told me it's not who you know in life, it's how you know them. And I had the incredible privilege today to spend time with this man, to spend time with his family, and to spend time with those who know him so well. And I figured out the reason that you love him so much is because I'm taking up his time. Let me just say this. The reason you love him so much is because he loves you. He loves you, and he wants the best for you, the Republican nominee for President, Donald Trump.
Great guy. Great guy. Great person. So I have to tell you a few things. Numbers just came out just now. Number one, we're doing very well in the polls. That's important, okay? Very well. Very, very well. But, you know, the numbers just came out that during the primary system, during the primaries, the Republicans, I wonder why, were up 62%. The Democrats were down 21%. These are final numbers, just came out. That tells you a little bit about what's going on. And what's going on very big and big league is what you witnessed today and over the last week. From Bill Clinton going to the plane, just happened to be there, I wonder how long he waited. But for Bill Clinton to go to the plane and then to have what happened today, where essentially everybody thought, based on what was being said, she was guilty. She was guilty. And it turned out that we're not going to press charges. It's really amazing. But I'll tell you, look, we have a rigged system, folks. Hey, I used to say it during the primaries. We're all together. I won North Carolina, big league, because of you. Big league. And not only did the Republican Party go way up from what it was 4 years ago, way, way up, but Donald Trump, in the history of the primary system, Republican Party, with 17 people running, a lot of people don't understand where you say 17 people. I got almost 14 million votes, more than anybody in the history of the Republican Party, more than Ronald Reagan, more than the Bushes, more than Richard Nixon, more than Dwight D. Eisenhower, who did win the Second World War. It certainly helped a heck of a lot. We got the highest vote count in the history of the Republican Party. That was such a big thing for me. We won 37 states. It just got stronger and stronger and stronger. And I think we're stronger now than ever before. We're fighting a very dishonest media. Do we have a protester? All right, get him out, please. Oh, we love our protesters, don't we? It's the only time I get the cameras to turn. The only time we get those cameras to turn. Look at the size of this place. This is really great. This is really great. Get them out. Get them out. Get them out. All right. Thank you. Thank you. That's all right. Take it easy. Take it easy, folks. You know, if I could speak to these people for a little while, what do we want when you think of it? We want good education. We want a strong military. We want strong borders. We do want the wall. We want to keep our jobs in North Carolina. We want to keep our jobs in North Carolina. I mean, look at what's going on, folks. We're going to build the wall. Don't worry. Who's going to pay for the wall? Who's going to pay? I didn't hear you. Who's going to pay? Better believe it. They're going to pay. They'll be happy to pay. If the right person asks them, they're going to be happy to pay. No problem. If the wrong person, like crooked Hillary Clinton, asks them, they're not going to pay. But she's never going to ask. She's never going to ask. And I'll tell you what. When it comes to trade, and I just got a list of companies that have left North Carolina, and they've gone down to Mexico, and it's a disgrace what's happening. It is a disgrace what's happening, and we're going to stop it, and it's not going to happen any longer. We're losing our jobs. We're losing our manufacturing. We're going to stop the nonsense that's going on, and it's so easy to stop. We will stop it so fast, your heads will spin. Remember that. Your heads will spin. So we'll talk a little bit about trade later. It's so easy. The trade is so easy, folks. It's so easy. The trade of all of them. We're going to knock the hell out of ISIS. We have, by the way, we have a president who's out campaigning for crooked Hillary Clinton, and he should be home working on ISIS, where the threat is getting worse and worse. He should be working on trade. He should be working on the borders. People are flowing into our country from lots of places, but from Syria, no more. No more. Okay, they're not coming. No more. We don't know who they are. We don't know where they come from. They have no documentation. They have no paperwork. And who knows? Who knows? But you know what? We can't take any more chances, folks. We can't take any more chances. If you look at crooked Hillary, she wants to increase the immigrants coming in from Syria. Again, they could be ISIS. This could be the all-time great Trojan horse. You know the story of the Trojan horse. This could be the all-time great. Look at what one person has done in Orlando. Just take a look. One person. Look at the horror that person has wreaked on our country. The gay community, the LGBT community was just, nobody can even fathom what took place. That's one bad apple. We have many people coming in, and you know what? It just takes a small percentage. But there's something going on, and guess what? We have a leader that doesn't even want to discuss the name of the problem. And the problem is radical Islamic terrorism. And it's a problem. It's a problem. And we've got Hillary Clinton, who's weak, who's ineffective. She'll never be able to do the job. Her judgment is horrible. Look at her judgment on emails. Who would do it? Look at her judgment. Her judgment is horrible, all right? Her judgment is horrible. Now, who said that about Hillary? Bernie Sanders said, her judgment is bad. She's got bad judgment, okay? Now, let me tell you, whether it's ISIS, whether it's trade, whether it's borders, whether it's jobs, it's going to be 4 more years of the same thing. The last thing we need is another Clinton, or the last thing we need is an Obama Clinton in the White House. We have got a mess in this country. We owe $19 trillion, soon to be $21 trillion. The debt has doubled under Obama. It's doubled. Wait till you see. We are sitting on a mess, and it's got to be taken care of. And the way it gets taken care of, at least that aspect of it, is jobs. We're going to bring jobs back to North Carolina. We're going to bring jobs back to our country. It's going to be America first, not all these other countries that don't give a damn about us. It's going to be America first. America, America, America first. We've got a person in the White House that's having a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I watched him today. It's like a carnival act. A lot of fun. Moving around, he has the whole thing. You know, great, great, great. I'm saying this is a president. We need a president who's going to bring us back. We need a president that's not going to be divisive. We need a president that's going to take care of the African American community. Remember that. Remember that. Obama is all talk and no action. We need a president that's going to create jobs for Hispanics who don't have the jobs. We need a president that's going to turn our country around, and Obama cannot do it, and Hillary Clinton will be even worse. Believe me, she will be even worse. I mean, I brought up something last night. I heard they're flying down on Air Force One. Now, Air Force One is a very old Boeing 747. It sucks up a lot of gas, a lot of fuel. Boy, the fuel bill. You turn on those engines, I can tell you, it's a lot of money. I said, let me ask you a question. Why is she campaigning with the plane of the United States? Why is she campaigning? And why is he allowed to come down, get on that very, very, very expensive plane? You know, he talks about the carbon footprint, okay? He wants to solve the carbon footprint, but he gets on an old Boeing 747 that's spewing stuff into the air. He gets her on the plane, And then they say, we will fight for the environment. We will fight for the carbon footprint. Then he gets back into the Boeing 747, goes back to Washington. His greatest was when he wanted to play golf in Hawaii. So he takes the 747, and by the way, he's played more rounds just about than people that play professionally on the PGA Tour. I mean, this guy. And he gets on this plane, flies to Hawaii. He's there for a long time. Golf, 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 more. Learning how to chip, learning how to hit the drive, learning how to putt. Oh, I want more. Our country's going to hell. ISIS is laughing at us. They're chopping off heads. They're drowning people in steel cages. And he's out there playing golf with just about as long a trip as you can make from Washington. Then after a long extended vacation, he gets back on the plane, flies back, lands, starts talking about the environment. Okay, give me a break, folks. Give me a break. Give me a break. Now, you know, we need unity in the Republican Party. And I have to be honest, I think I win without the unity. But we need unity in the Republican Party. And for the most part, we have unity. We have some pretty good stuff. And we have some great people, like Bob, who just came up, and so many others, so many senators, so many congressmen and women. We have great people. But we need real unity. And the leaders have to get supportive. And if they don't get supportive, we're going to win anyway. Don't worry about it. In fact, probably I do better without the kind of support that we're talking about, because that's where I'm here in the first place. That's why I'm here in the first place. The convention's going to be terrific. We have great speakers. We have fantastic speakers. We have so many people that want to speak. You know, they give us the stuff, oh, they don't have enough. We have so many people that want to speak. I have made so many enemies by saying, I can't let you do it. But we want people that love our country and want to be there and that love our party. And if they don't love our party, they shouldn't be there. And let me just tell you one little thing, which turns out to be a big, big thing. Defense is always most important, right? We have to defend our country. We're going to have to build up our military again. It's really depleted. It's in bad shape. We're going to build it up. We're going to take care of our vets like you wouldn't believe, because our vets are being mistreated horribly, horribly. Our greatest people. And we have a plan that's received universal, fantastic reviews. And I'm the only one. You know, I made a speech up in a great part of the world, okay? I won't even mention where. But I made a speech, and during the speech I said, let's raise some money for the vets. We ended up raising $5.6 million for vets. I gave $1 million, and we ended up, I could have just made a speech and left. And the press comes down. Well, he should have given here, he should have given it faster, we have to vet the vets. You know that, right? They're groups, who knows? We have to check them out. But anyway, we raised $5.6 million for the vets. I am so proud of it. I love the vets. I have received more accolades from the groups. We're sending groups that never had money, 100,000, 200,000, in one case 1.1 million, in another case 250, 75,000, 50,000, all of these groups, I don't know, 30-something groups. It was so beautiful to see. You, all of us, we have received accolades. And I say all of us because this is a movement, folks. This is not like a normal situation. Look at this room. Look at the size of this room. And there are thousands of people, and I got wiped out getting off the plane. It was raining and windy, and I want to tell you, it's actually beautiful. Beautiful. And now you know it's my hair, because any hair that could withstand that wind. The pilot, it is my hair. The pilot said, sir, I'd wait about 10 to 20 minutes before you get out of the plane. I said, why? He said, 35, 40-mile-an-hour gusts, raining. I said, no, we're not going to keep these And I was against the war in Iraq. Now, I was a civilian. I'm a businessman. It was a long time ago, but I was against it. I was always against it. I didn't want to go the war in Iraq. I said, I think you're going to destabilize the Middle East. I think you're going to have a lot of problems. Who would have known this is going to happen? And on top of everything else, what else did we get out? Other than a total destabilization, a total mess, thousands and thousands of our lives and other lives, their lives. Thousands and thousands of our young people's lives destroyed. Tens of thousands of wounded, where they're wounded so gravely. They're the bravest people I've ever seen. They have a better attitude in life than I do. Some of these people, they have the best attitude I've ever seen. I work with them. We help them. And they have the best attitude I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like it. I'm serious. They have a better attitude about life in some cases than I do. These are amazing, amazing people. We shouldn't have done it. But what did we get out of it? We got ISIS on top of everything else. Now we have a president that doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He doesn't have a clue, folks. And instead of staying there with a fairly small force, he announces to the world he's going to take everybody out. And they'll be out by a certain date. And the only thing that was a little surprising is the enemy didn't believe him, because they said nobody could be that stupid to announce that we're going to be out on a certain date. And then that date came and we were gone. We were gone. We shouldn't have been there. We shouldn't have destabilized. Saddam Hussein was a bad guy, right? He was a bad guy, really bad guy. But you know what he did well? He killed terrorists. He did that so good. They didn't read him the rights. They didn't talk. They were a terrorist. It was over. Today, Iraq is Harvard for terrorism. You want to be a terrorist, you go to Iraq. It's like Harvard. Okay? So sad. So sad. Okay? So sad. And we're going to take care of it, folks. We have no choice. We have no choice. It was when they cut off the heads initially, we were all amazed. I think they overplayed their hand. And if they didn't, then we are all fools, because we cannot let them get away with what they're doing right now, terrorizing the world. We're going to be so strong. We're going to be so tough. We're going to be so vicious. And we're going to knock them for a loop. We have no choice. So I just want to, I wrote some notes coming in the plane because I was watching this tragedy that took place today and over the last few days. It's a tragedy because we're a country of law. We're a country of order. Other people have been so badly hurt by doing things so much less than crooked Hillary Clinton. So much less. Right? So much less. I mean, you look at so many people have suffered so gravely for doing so much less. Now, does that mean that we expunge their record? Does that mean that we say, all of you people that have been so guilty for so many years, we can no longer accept that as a ruling because what we've done for her, and she was so much worse than anybody that we're talking about, does that mean that we have to exonerate everybody? We have to take back the punishment that we gave them? Because we have a country that's supposed to be fair. And when you hear what was said by the FBI director today, and you listen to what he said, and in the middle of it, he was talking about so many different things. He talked about extremely careless. She was extremely careless. That's a tremendous word. You didn't have to be careless. You didn't even have to really know that what you were doing was wrong and you're guilty, because we're talking about serious stuff. We're talking about the lifeblood of our country. We're talking about the safety of our people. The laws are very explicit. Stupidity is not a reason that you're going to be innocent, okay? It's not a reason. And I don't happen to believe that it was stupidity, okay? But even stupidity is not a reason. And boy, what they've done. So I wrote this out, and I'm going to read some of it to you. And I think it makes sense. And I think it's important for us to understand. Today is the best evidence ever that we've seen that our system is absolutely, totally rigged. It's rigged. And I used that term initially when I was running in the Republican primaries, and I was the first to use it. Then all of a sudden it became a hot term. Everybody was using the word rigged, rigged, rigged. But if you remember, I'd win Louisiana, and I'd find out I didn't get enough delegates. What happened? And places like Colorado, which was so good to me, but all of a sudden we find out that they don't have the vote. And other things. Okay, I used the word rigged. And frankly, I'll be honest. Instead of one. And this horrible, stupid Obamacare is a killer, which is giving them part-time employment when they never had part-time employment in their lives. And the premiums are through the roof, and the deductibles are so high that you'll never be able to use it unless you die a very vicious, long, slow death. Okay? And it's going to explode in 17 anyway, and we're going to replace it before it explodes. And we're going to replace it with something that's great and that's less expensive, both for yourselves and for the country. It's a horror show. You have to see what I'm hearing. In Texas, going through Obamacare, Blue Cross Blue Shield raised 60%. You saw that last week. A 60% increase in premiums, Blue Cross Blue Shield, through Obamacare. Now, I hear that on November 1st, they're going to have an increase on Obamacare and health care that is going to set this country in motion. And I mean motion in a bad way. Better than Texas, 60%. The numbers are astronomical. And what they want to do is they now want to take those numbers and move them from November 1st to any time after the election. And we're not going to let them get away with it, folks. We're not going to let them get away with it. So, as I said, today is the best evidence we've ever seen that our system is totally rigged. Hillary Clinton put the entire country in danger. Put the entire country in danger. And Benghazi. And Benghazi. And plenty of other things, by the way. It was confirmed today that she routinely sent classified emails on an insecure private server that could be easily hacked by hostile foreign agents. And we learned that people she emailed were hacked and probably, I think maybe definitely, were hacked by these hostile actors. And these are bad but very, very smart people. A hell of a lot smarter than what we have in Washington, that I can tell you. Our enemies may have a blackmail file on Crooked Hillary, and this alone means that she should not be allowed to serve as President of the United States. We now know, just wrote this out, we now know that she lied to the country when she said she did not send classified information on her server. She lied. She sent vast amounts of classified information, including information classified as top secret. Top secret. Okay? And this is where they said that she was extremely careless and, frankly, I say, grossly incompetent. She will be such a lousy president, folks. So sad. Okay. The lives of the American people were put at risk by Hillary Clinton so that she could carry on her corrupt financial dealings. That's probably why she didn't want people to see what the hell she was doing. She went to extraordinary lengths to carry out an Enron-style purge of her emails. 33,000 emails are missing, and they say, oh, she's fine, she's fine. 33,000. And I've always been told you can't really get rid of an email. Have you ever heard this? That if we have the real super geniuses that know this stuff, they say you can't get rid of emails. But we didn't use them because they didn't want to use them. They didn't want to use them. So, like a criminal with a guilty conscience, Clinton had her lawyers delete, destroy, and wipe away forever. Except, I still say there are geniuses that can find them. 30,000, think of this, 30,000 emails. This again disqualifies her from service. And just think of it. I mean, how can you have this? We know now that these deletions included emails that were work-related. One more big, fat, beautiful lie by crooked Hillary. Any government employee who engaged in this kind of behavior would be barred from handling classified information. Again, that alone disqualifies her. And again, Bernie Sanders talked about bad judgment. But he's not happy tonight, folks, because now it looks like it's over for Bernie. But you know what? I have a feeling they're going to have a lot of people marching on Philadelphia. Let's see what happens, okay? Let's see. I don't know about you, but I always felt that Hillary Clinton would escape criminal charges for her dangerous and illegal behavior because I always knew and I always see, and it's so sad, that our system is in fact rigged. It's totally rigged, okay? It's corrupt, it's rigged, it's disgraceful. You have a statement made today at 11 o'clock, then you have a big speech by the president flying in on Air Force One with Hillary Clinton a few hours later, even though we have more people here than they do, but we won't say that. So the AG met with the president, had to, before the announcement. I mean, how about that? Met with President Bill Clinton. How about that deal, right? He's waiting around. He's waiting at the airport. Oh, look, the AG's come. Oh, let me go say hello. 39 minutes. I'm going to talk about the grandkids. He's got two. I hear they're beautiful. He's got two. Now, I have 8 grandchildren, and I will tell you, I can talk about them. And after I say, isn't she beautiful? Isn't he beautiful? Oh, I love this kid. I love the kid. I love it. But after about a minute, I can't go much longer. I want to get to business, right? For you, I want to get to business. But he didn't talk about it. He talked about golf, okay? So he talked about the grandkids, and I would say that would take anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. Seriously. Am I right? I mean, how long can you talk? Mr. Attorney General, I have the most beautiful grandchildren you've ever seen. Let me show you a picture. Isn't that great? Let me show you another picture. What do you think? I think they're beautiful. Let me show you another picture. What do you think? I think they're beautiful. Now he's starting to run out of words. Great. Now he's starting to run out of words. That's 30 seconds. Now he's going to talk about golf. I know more about golf than he does. You can't talk about golf that long. It's just... Hey, Jack Nicklaus, Adam Scott. Yes. Phil Mickelson. You can't talk much longer. A couple of minutes. Okay? I don't think they went over the swing or the technique or anything, right? The plane's too small. Right? So give the grandchildren 2 minutes. Give the golf 3.5 minutes. That's a long time to be sitting there twiddling your thumbs. What else are we going to talk about? Let's talk about Hillary. Let's talk about Hillary. Did you see today Hillary announced that she may consider the Attorney General? I'm not casting aspersions on anybody, other than Hillary, of course. But she may consider the Attorney General, who's ruling on her case now. Now they're ruling on the case, to continue forward as Attorney General. Now, how do you make that statement when they are going to rule? Because remember what happened. The FBI makes their recommendation, and then still it's up to the Attorney General's office. So Hillary said today, at least according to what I saw on television, which you can't always believe. I actually found it hard to believe she'd say this. But she said today that we may consider the Attorney General to go forward. That's like a bribe, isn't it? Isn't that sort of a bribe? I think it's a bribe. I mean, that if she wins, she's going to consider extending the Attorney General. And you know what? I'm not knocking the Attorney General. What I'm saying is, how can you say that? It's a bribe. I mean, the Attorney General sitting there saying, if I get Hillary off the hook, I'm going to have 4 more years or 8 more years. But if she loses, I'm out of a job. It's a bribe. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. She is laughing at the stupidity of our system. She is laughing, and so is her husband, Bill, laughing at what's going on. Because, and they've been there before, they've been there between Whitewater and all of the others. They've been there. Look at her cattle futures. I mean, she did better with cattle proportionately than people that have been in the cattle business all their lives and have made millions in the cattle. She did better than they did, and she never did it before. I wonder how that happened. Okay. She's crooked Hillary, folks. And now with all of that going on, you have Obama campaigning. And he's campaigning, and this was set up a long time ago, and he knew that the FBI was going to do this because it would have been very uncomfortable for him to campaign with her, actually, if they didn't take a pass on crooked Hillary. So they take a pass. They announce they're not going to press charges. Lo and behold, a few hours later, let's have a press conference. Let's do a speech together. By the way, her speech was terrible. I watched it. How boring was that speech? Do we like Trump better? Do we like Trump better? Now, let me just tell you, because the word temperament comes in. She says, he's got a very strong temperament. I got to tell you the truth. Chopping off heads, losing thousands and thousands and thousands of people to these savage animals, right? We need somebody with a tough temperament. It's time. And I'll tell you, whether it's on trade, whether it's on military, whether it's at the border, the last person these other countries want to see as President of the United States, because I'm going to be fighting for you, not fighting for them. I'm going to be fighting for you, is Donald J. Trump, the last person. So, the last one. So a very amazing and prestigious man, I won't use his name, but some people will know who I'm talking about. I was at his house, and he said, Donald, I thought you were totally wrong. I thought you were much too tough on China. I thought you were much too tough on Japan. I thought you were much too tough on Mexico and all of these other countries that you're talking to with respect. but I thought you were much too tough. And for a year, I've been telling people, he's being too tough. I thought you were much too tough, Donald, on Saudi Arabia. Much too tough. I thought you were much too tough on Japan. Because as you know, and as you never knew before I got involved, we pay for a big portion of Japan's military. And I want them to help us out. This isn't 40 years ago. This isn't 30 years ago. They're sending cars to us by the millions. And believe me, we don't need more Iran deals done by incompetent people. We need smart people. We need great negotiators. And believe me, I'll head it up. And I know what I'm doing. But we have the greatest negotiators in the world. And we don't use them. We use political hacks. So we take care of Japan. And we take care of Germany. And we take care of, I would tell lots of places. South Korea. We have 28,000 soldiers on the line between North and South Korea. South Korea, order a television. See if you can buy one in the United States. You know what the answer is? You can't. Order other things, many other things. See if you can buy them. Hey, who just moved to Mexico, right? Who just moved to Mexico from Indiana, the great state of Indiana that gave me another great victory, right? Carrier. So we don't make that anymore. So Carrier's moving. By the way, I would tell the people at Carrier, love you people. Every time you make an air conditioning unit and enjoy your beautiful factory, you're going to send it through that border, which is now a very strong and secure border, and you're going to pay 35% tax. And you know what? They're not leaving. They're not leaving, folks. They're not going to leave. Now, Hillary Clinton wants it. And I'll tell you, the press doesn't treat it right. One person actually at the New York Times, David Sandler, treated it right, along with Maggie. They wrote a story that was pretty accurate, about 82%. But I mention this all the time, and the press will go, Donald Trump wants Japan to go nuclear. I didn't say that. You have to be prepared always in a deal to walk. For instance, with the horrible deal we made with Iran, the horrible deal, the incompetent deal, Kerry should have picked up and walked a couple of times. He should have walked when they said they won't give back our hostages until the deal is over. He should have walked. And then he should have walked, doubled up the sanctions, and by the time they landed back in the United States, they could have turned the plane around, you would have had those hostages back instead of waiting for years. And he should have said one other thing, folks. We gave them back $150 billion. I would have said it differently. I would have said, you know, my father used to say, son, you're too tough. Take the lumps out, soft, nice and easy. My father was great. Good salesman, good builder. He loved to build houses. He was a good builder. I learned so much from him. And he was a great guy, a lovely guy. I loved my father. But he used to say, son, you're too tough. Take the lumps out. So in the old days, I would have said, we're not giving you the $150 billion. And they would have been angry and we would have had lots of problems, right? I wouldn't say it that way anymore. My father taught me too well. I would have said, fellas, and it is all fellas, I hate to say. They haven't figured out that the women are smarter than the men yet, okay? They will. They will. It'll take about 150 to 200 more years, but they're going to figure it out, okay? Then we're really in trouble. Can you imagine? Because the Persians are great negotiators, and they totally out-negotiated. So I would have said, fellas, do me a favor, we have a problem. We have a bad budget that was just passed. The omnibus budget, disaster. We're going up to $21 trillion in debt. We don't have the money. I'm sorry. I apologize. I won't be able to pull it off. I'm not going to be able to give you the $150 billion back. I can't do it. I want to do it. I want to do it so bad. And you're right. You should get it. You should get it. Oh, you're right. But we don't have the money. I'm sorry. And they'll go crazy. And then we leave. And we say, to hell with them, double up the sanctions again. And they'll say, we'll drop the $150 billion. We have rank amateurs dealing for us. I have the greatest businessmen in the world, Carl Icahn, many, endorsing me. We're going to bring so much back. We have right now, I say it's $5 trillion. The government says $2.5 trillion, but it's a lot. In other places, in other areas across the seas that we want to bring back. My tax plan, which cuts taxes for everybody, by the way, including business and middle class in particular. It cuts taxes. We're going to bring all that money back, and that money is going to be spent in the United States. Right now, they can't get the money back. So you have corporate inversions. You have companies leaving the United States to get their money. They can't get their money back. It's impossible bureaucratically, and the taxes are so ridiculous that only a person that's really, really, really dumb would say, send it back. So they leave the money over there, and they take the company, they move the company to the money. You ever hear that one before? And it's happening all over the place. Take a look at what's going on. And it's going to end. It's going to end. We're one of the highest taxed nations in the world. We're cutting the hell out of taxes. We're cutting the hell out of these ridiculous regulations which are destroying our businesses. Destroying our businesses. And we're going to do it. Okay. So, just to finish, because I'm so proud of what I wrote, I have to read it. I love it. I actually love writing. People don't realize, you know how many #1 bestsellers I've had? And the art of the deal. I actually know how to write. I love reading this stuff. I love it. The question really has to be asked is this. What is Hillary Clinton's motive? And to that, I'm even going to say, who cares? She's put us in danger. And some people say that it's corrupt financially. I don't care what her motive is. All I know is she had a motive. But she's erased so many emails, we'll never find out, okay? Bill and Hillary Clinton raked in millions of dollars from foreign governments, special interests, and international corporations in exchange for favors, folks, for favors. She's crooked Hillary. Don't you understand that? This is one of the most crooked politicians in history. These entities either funneled money into the Clinton Foundation or paid Bill Clinton lavishly for speeches. Got paid a fortune. At least 60 companies that lobbied the State Department during Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State donated a total of $26 million to the Clinton Foundation. Okay, $26 million. And she's dealing with these countries. Bill Clinton, and by the way, many of these countries treat women and want to enslave women, and they treat women horribly. And as far as the gay community, they push them off buildings, and they kill them, and they execute them. And she has tens of millions of dollars from these countries. Believe me, I am better for the gay community, I am better for women than she will ever be on her best day. On her best day. Bill Clinton was paid a fortune to deliver a speech in Moscow, Russia, while Hillary Clinton was in charge of the Russian reset. Another disaster. Bill Clinton was paid money by the Chinese government, a lot, and its supporters, while Hillary handled China policy. And during this time, China was stealing hundreds of billions of dollars in United States intellectual property. Okay, folks? We could go forever. ABC News said President Clinton accepted speaking fees from numerous companies and individuals with interests pending before Hillary Clinton's State Department. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. International Business Times said governments and corporations involved in the arms deals approved by Clinton State Departments have delivered, listen to this, have delivered, her State Department, she's approving deals, have delivered between $54 and $141 million to the Clinton Foundation. $141 million. Are we, what's going on here? To the Clinton Foundation, as well as hundreds of thousands of dollars in payments to the Clinton family. Then, when Hillary left the State Department, she was paid $21.6 million for speeches delivered in less than 2 years. That's not bad, $21 million for making speeches. And she's a boring speaker. She's terrible. Think what I could make. Oh, man. She's a terrible speaker. She got $21.6 million for speeches. And she refuses, because Bernie Sanders knows this better than anybody, she refuses to give up the text of the speeches. I don't know what's in there. Hey, I don't care if she gives it up, because I understand her. And I understand many of the people that are her supporters. And by the way, many of them are friends of mine. And they're going to own her, folks. They're going to own her. Don't forget, I used to be on the other side of the equation. I used to be establishment. Then on June 16th, I ran. And everyone said, oh, he's no longer establishment. He's not supposed to be running. He doesn't need our money. That's terrible. And I put up $55 million approximately in the primaries and won, big league. And then, and I'm putting up money now, but I'm raising a lot of money. And it's good, it's good, it's really good. We're going to back from these thieves and these crooks and these horrible presidents, these phony presidents. And I mean it, what I say. When Obama can take all of this time off, when you have bombings all over the place and you have ISIS as an example, and all of the bad deals, when he can take that kind of time off to spend it with Hillary Clinton, with the seal of the president in front as she stands there, she doesn't look presidential to me, folks, I can tell you that. She doesn't look presidential. Hillary also had reason to hide her foreign policy disasters and the decisions that went into them. Her push for regime change in Libya, Egypt, and Syria has been a total and complete disaster. Her Iraq policy has been catastrophic. She's unleashed ISIS across the Middle East with her bad decisions and her bad judgment. And she's going to do nothing about it because she's a weak, weak person. She doesn't have the strength, and she doesn't have the temperament, believe me. There's going to be more of the same, folks, more of the same. In 2009, before she took office, Libya was cooperating. Syria was under control. Iraq was seeing a reduction in violence. And Iran was being choked, absolutely choked, financially. They were dying. Now, after she left, ISIS controls huge portions of Iraq. Syria and Libya committing unspeakable, inhuman atrocities and trying to launch attacks against the West. Iran, meanwhile, has been placed on the path to nuclear weapons, has become a true power. They become a true power in the Middle East and beyond. Well, they weren't a power. We gave them power with that horrible, horrible deal. So Hillary Clinton's policies have spread ISIS and made Iran the dominant Islamic power in the Middle East. Hillary Clinton can't keep her emails safe. And you know what, folks? She sure as hell can't keep our country safe. Can't do it. Can't do it. So, I want to thank the people of North Carolina. It's been such an amazing run for me. It's been such an amazing. We've had a lot of good times. We've had a lot of fun. We've had a lot of speeches. We've had a lot of good times together, though, seriously. And, look, we need change. Not Obama change. You remember Obama used to go, we need change. It sounded so good. Everybody thought, and I actually thought he'd be a cheerleader for the country. I thought he'd be a cheerleader, and he's really turned out to be a very divisive person, okay? We need change. And I hate to use the term, but we really do need change. We need fresh, tough, bold ideas. We need people that know what they're doing. We need people that aren't worried about political correctness. We can't use that term. We can't use that And I watched Obama a week ago spend a whole speech on talking about why he shouldn't necessarily have to say radical Islam, why he shouldn't do it. That's what the problem is, and he doesn't even know it. I don't even think he knows. Honestly, folks, I don't think he has a clue. I don't think he knows what the hell is going on. Okay? I don't think he knows what's going on. And you know, it's a very interesting thing, but I was watching yesterday, and everybody's saying, ISIS, 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 ISIS. Now, you know, you can have your definition. It has to do with territory, and it has to do with other things. So we can both give you definitions of ISIS and ISIL. But do you ever notice people say ISIS? Except him, he says ISIL. ISIL. He goes, and ISIL is being driven back. And ISIL is the JV. Remember that, the JV? Man, if that's the JV, I sure as hell don't want to see the varsity, right? Don't worry. Don't worry. If I win, they'll be the JV, and then they'll go down to first grade pretty soon, folks. But he says ISIL, and you know, it's almost like he does it to make people upset. I've had so many people say, why doesn't he just say ISIS? Forgetting about definitions. And actually, some friends of mine that are very, very good on the subject say ISIS is actually more accurate. But who knows? But everybody says ISIS. Say ISIS. It'll be so nice, right? Right? Don't say ISIL. And ISIL will be driven back. You know, it's always, ISIL will be driven back. In the meantime, it's a disaster. It's totally a disaster. Remember this, and I said it before. Our military is depleted at a time when probably in the history of this country, we need strong military. We are going to win North Carolina. We are going to get rid of these fools that are running our country. They're fools. We are not going to go 4 more years that even the FBI today talks so horribly about this person. To a point where you said, how can you possibly say no charges? What they said and what he said today was so bad. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start winning again. We're going to win so much, you're going to be so sick of winning, folks. Oh, you're going to be so angry at me. You're going to be so angry at me. You're going to have your lieutenant governor who's here. You're going to have your head of the Supreme Court who's here. These are great people with great... Where are they? Are they around here someplace? They're here. Stand up! Come on, stand up. Beautiful. These are great people. With great reputations. I will tell you, outside of North Carolina, they have great reputations, okay? And you're lucky down. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to start winning again. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win with our military. We're going to take care of our vets, and we're going to really take care of our vets. And it's not even a question of money. It's a question of competence. We're spending so much money. And it's corrupt. It's a corrupt enterprise. The Veterans Administration, you look at what's going on in Arizona with the VA. It's a corrupt enterprise. So we're going to start winning. We're going to win on the Second Amendment. We're not going to let people take our guns away. We're going to terminate Common Core out of Washington. We're going to bring our education local. So we can have our local people who love our children and who really understand our children, give them the kind of education that we want. We're going to repeal and replace Obamacare so quickly. We're going to create strong borders. We're going to build our wall. We're going to stop drugs from flowing into our country like water. It's flowing into our country like water. We're going to protect our states. We're going to protect our youth and others from the drugs that are flowing through the southern border. We are going to make the greatest trade deals anyone's ever made. We're going to bring our jobs back. We're going to bring manufacturing back. We're going to be selling things to other countries. We're not going to let countries come in and take advantage of us, take our companies out, sell their goods with no tax, with no nothing, and then when our manufacturers want to go to China and other places to sell their goods, they can't get their goods into the country because the Chinese say, we don't want your goods. So they dump onto our land, and they dump their steel, and they dump their aluminum, and they destroy our factories, and they destroy so much. And you know what, folks? We're going to end up doing our own products, largely again. And you know what? Let me tell you, our products, and I'm not for isolation. This is only if they don't behave. But they devalue the currency. They make it impossible for our companies to compete. Every time we start to do well, various countries that are grand masters, they start devaluing their currencies, and our countries go from, boy, I'm feeling good today, to, oh, here we go again. You can't compete. It's cheating. It's a big form of cheating. We are going to take care of our manufacturers, and we're going to start making product again. And let me tell you something. We may pay a little more for the product, but we're going to have all those jobs that make the product. In the long run, we're going to be much better off. Much better off. And a lot of that will come back. And again, no isolation. We're going to have fair trade. We're going to have free trade. One of these people sitting right up there asked me the other day, what do? Do you call it fair trade? Do you call it free trade? It's all good. I can give you 10 different names for trade. Here's what I call it. We're going to make great deals for our country. I don't care if it's fair, if it's free. I don't give a damn what it is. We're going to make great deals for our country. Okay? We're not going to let happen what's been happening. So, folks, we're going to start winning again. We're going to win so much. You're going to be so sick of me. You're going to have the justice call me. You're going to have the lieutenant governor and the governor call me and say, Mr. President, the people of North Carolina are sick and tired of winning. You're winning too much. They're really starting to dislike you, Mr. President. And I'm going to tell the justice, and I'm going to tell the governor and the lieutenant governor, I'm sorry, we got to keep winning because we're going to make America great again. I love you, North Carolina. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.